Okay, so you are ready, and this is, as I was mentioning before, for anyone watching this video, it's not really a video, it's an audio recording. So it's just the easiest way for me to record the final exam review. This is the final exam review for tomorrow's exam on the weekend, Objective-C class. This is a different exam than the other people will be taking. There's two separate exams for this. I have two sections. Other people I mean are the other section. So, and anyone listening from the next weekend, there's two sections, different exams. So, because you guys take it this weekend, and then there's too much sharing. You guys love to share. There's too much sharing. So, you don't have to share. You can share if you want, actually, because it doesn't matter. They're taking a different exam. All right. So, what do we got? We have 40 points total. And of the 40 points, we count up how many multiple choices you have. You have 9 multiple choice questions, and so 1 through 9 are multiple choice, 10 through 25 are short answer. The problem with multiple choice is it's too easy to cheat. People look all over the place. Harder to cheat on a short answer. And I was told I can't do multiple choice. The entire exam can't be multiple choice. So now we have multiple choice and short answer. So let me go through the multiple choice. I'll tell you the whole point breakdown. Some questions are worth more points than other questions. Whole points come down to there's 25 questions, but it's worth 40 points total. They're not all worth 2 points. Only the writing ones. The writing ones are worth more points than the multiple choice ones. So the multiple choice, which is the first part of the exam, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the questions are true false. So it's not too bad, actually. You have 9 give-me's, 50% chance of guessing it correctly. What are the subject areas? There's no programming on the exam. You don't have to write any source code on the exam. Actually, I'll verify that when I go through it. Oh, I'm sorry. You do have to write source code on the exam. I'll tell you when I get there. Sorry. This is a different version of it. So the other group has to write exam. They have to write. Everyone's treated equally. Both sections of this class. So there's some questions where you have to write source code, and there's some where you don't. But it's a source code of 1 line. If you've written the source code for your programming assignments, you'll know how to answer the questions. If you've copied, plagiarized, stolen, whatever, you'll have no clue. Last time I did this, we had a different exam with slightly different questions. I had you guys writing. I had you guys write class definitions and stuff. I got a lot of C++ code. I got a lot of Java code. But the people who actually answered in Objective-C actually answered correctly. So if you know Objective-C, you'll have no problem. And this afternoon, or after I get done going over this, we'll review a little bit of the syntax. So I'll show you what you need to know as well. But anyway, so get back to your multiple choice here. The multiple choice questions, the first question is on the categories and protocols. So know the concept of a category, know the concept of a protocol. What they are. You also have one in number 2. So number 1 is on categories and protocol. Number 2 is on the ID concept. The ID, generic object ID, the use of it. Number 3 is on the concept of the interface. The interface and the implementation. You know, you have the at interface and you have the at implementation. And the at end at the end of the. So it's really easy question actually, but it's on the use of that. You know, if you think about it, it's kind of like the differences between the .h and the .m kind of thing. Yeah, okay. All right, so Number 4 is about Objective-C compared to a couple of other programming languages. A characteristic of Objective-C as compared to a couple of other programming languages. Actually, 4 and 5 are of the same nature. I was looking at number 5. I'm like, yeah, it's very similar in concept. Other object-oriented programming languages. As an example, we have C++, we have Java, we have Smalltalk. It's not a syntax question or a programming question. It's a concept question, actually. It's pretty easy too. So the multiple choices are really easy. I think they're easy. Now we're getting into, well, actually, that last one was a true-false question. So now we've got, most of these are true-falses. They're not really multiple choice. The next question of 4 and 5 are together. I mean, they're not together, but they're on the same concepts. It's on the Objective-C as compared with other object-oriented programming languages. Number 6 is on dynamic behavior of Objective-C. We know that Objective-C is 100% dynamic, and the dynamic behavior, in terms of what that actually means, is in the number 6. Number 7 is on the concept of methods. 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 What can I talk about on methods? Probably like the syntax of the methods and the use of the methods and the declaration of methods. Methods. Am I going too fast? Okay, number 8 is on that plus and that minus symbol. You know what those mean? You know, the class versus the instance. It's yeah, it's actually pretty. It's a true-false question too. Yeah, 50% chance of getting it right. Statistically, you don't even have to be in the statistics class to know that. Number 9, the last of the multiple choice questions. It's on the concept of private. I'm reading you actually words that are in the question here. It says private, comma, public, comma, or protected. In C++, we call them access modifiers. In Objective-C, I don't know if these are really a word for it. I don't know. Maybe they're called access modifiers. I don't know. Visibility. Something like that. That's number 9. That's a true-false question, too.
Can you repeat again?
Can I repeat it again? Yeah, it's on the concept of private, comma, public, or protected. Oh my God. Are you just joking, right? Oh, the question. I don't know what the question is. I can't read you the whole question. Actually, I can. Blah, blah, blah has blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Private, comma, public, comma, or protected. All right. Are we good? See, that's the easy part. All right. So number 10 starts in with the more challenging part. It's not really hard. I won't say that. No. So on these questions, I'm just going to say know how to. Because I'm not going to read you the question, but you'll have to do a variation of how to, as an example, declare a variable. Know how to declare a variable. Remember, objects have a little asterisk next to them. And, for NS string, asterisk, my string, or integer I, just like C++. It'll have you do one. It doesn't tell you things like, it's a pointer, or it's not a pointer. You actually have to know that. So as an example, let me go through this one. This one is a no-brainer, so I'll just go through this one a little bit. you have to know what a pointer and what a not a pointer is in terms of your variable declaration. So as an example, not in the test, but if I said, declare a string type, declare a string to hold a user's name, I would expect an NS string being used for that. If you gave me a character array, like you would in C, like a C character array, which you could actually do as a static C string, you'd lose a point. Because the question is going to say, in Objective-C. Objective-C has different syntax than C, although C is part of Objective-C. And remember in the beginning of the course I said in this class we're learning Objective-C. So yes, you can write C code inside of Objective-C. If you missed a question because you wrote character 50, my name, and you assigned it my name, you did a C character array, or even you used a pointer with C if you did it that way. Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm going to come back and say, okay, -1. I'll give you half point because you got it. This is not the question, but half point because you got part of it right. And then you're going to come over and you're going to say, yeah, but look at this. It's correct. It works in Objective-C. That might be the case, but it's not Objective-C. Yeah?
So for this assignments part, for the function where you're printing something, it's okay to use printf as opposed to nslog.
Yes, it is. If you've used C syntax in your programming assignments, that's fine. On the exam, I'm asking for Objective-C source code. So if I said, print to the log the message hello world, I'm looking for nslog. I'm not looking for printf. If you gave me printf, you'd get 1 point if it were worth 2 points. That's what I'm trying to say. You get half a point. Or if you said, my string Barb, and I left out the asterisk, you get partial credit, so don't leave them blank. If you can't remember how to do it, write in as much as you do remember. They're going to be a little bit more complicated than just declaring a variable, obviously. You're not going to write a complete program, but you will be writing source code chunks. A couple of lines of code or so. So when you do that, if you don't know the first part but you know the second part, or you can at least get the @implement and the @end correct or @interface correct, you'll get partial points for it. You leave it blank, you get no points for it. If you write something, another thing to say, and you cross it out, make sure you really cross it out. Because I had one time, not this school, different school, I had actually a weird case, and a student like wrote 5 different answers. And then I'm like, but that's not, no, none of them are right. Well, none of them were right. But he felt one of them was more right than another one. And he thought I graded the wrong one. But he didn't cross anything out. He just put them all on there. It's like you're throwing darts, you know. You just, like if I said, create a string to hold the user's first name. And you put string, my string, string, asterisk, my string. You wrote it like 5 different times. But one of them was kind of correct, sort of close, but the other ones were really wrong. Character, the more and not the merrier. The more, the less, the more confusing. Just cross out only one answer per question, or one set of code. Okay, so. All right, so now that you know the format of the questions, they're all the same way. So the number 10 is on variables. The focus of that question is on how to create variables in language. Number 11 is on initializers. Know how to create initializers. So some of you, don't worry, we'll have some time this afternoon for studying. Some of you are going, oh my god, I don't know how to do an initializer. Although, if you've done all this stuff in the assignments, all of this stuff that you've done in the exam. Number 12. So it's a couple each one of these are a couple sentences. The topic of it is the initializer. The topic of it is the variable. Long story short, number 12. It's using an initializer. So obviously you want to know the syntax for creating an initializer and how to use an initializer. You're going to create an instance of an object and use its initializer. Both of the questions actually work together. So here's another problem scenario. You can't remember how to do the initializer. Then fake it. And if it says use the initializer that you created in question number 9 and initialize an object with it. And you go, but I didn't create one in number 9. I don't have one. Pretend you do. There are different parts, different questions completely. Pretend like you got an initializer and use your initializer. So at least maybe you might know how to use it if you don't know how to create it, or vice versa. Create it even though you don't know how to use it or something. So they're mutually exclusive questions. Okay, that was number 12. Number 13 is on the concept of property and synthesize. Did you have a question? Using initializers is 12. 10's variables, 11 init initializers, 12 using it, 13 property and synthesize. You'll have to write some code with property and synthesize in it. Know which one goes in which file and how to use it. Now, when it comes to the property, you don't have to worry about the syntax of everything in front of it. No points taken off for not having the properties. There's like 20 different ways of writing it. You don't have to make it weak or strong. I'm not going to nitpick you. I'm going to say, make something that's not going to be garbage collected, so it's strong. Or make something that's going to be garbage collected, weak. Or you don't have to worry about the syntax of all of the different parameters that you could put in there. Are you going to do attendance? Okay, good. Let me pause my video. We're still on lucky number 13? Or we did do 13. 13's on property and synthesize. I think we did 13. Lucky number 14. On Saturday the 14th, we have number 14th. Yesterday was an unlucky day, Friday the 13th. So ITU had their holiday party. On Friday the 13th. Yes? Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Pause it. All right, we're finishing this review. Lucky number 14 for Saturday the 14th. It is, right? I'll read you the question. You have to write, I'm going to read you the first part of the question, and then I'll end it with some blah blahs. Write the code to send the message blah, 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 to the blah, blah class. And I'll repeat it for you. I don't know if I can get the number of blahs correct, but let's see. Write the code to send the message blah, 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 to the blah, 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 blah class. You're writing a message. On a class. You would have actually created this class in one of the previous questions. Remember there was a question that had you write a method? You're going to run the method. And it says only use Objective-C syntax on it. I'm going to review some of this stuff in a few minutes, so don't be writing with doc notation. That's not Objective-C. Okay, number 15. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 15th. Let's see. Whoa. Initialize an instance of some object. It's just a blah, blah, blah. Initialize an instance of blah, blah, blah. Initializing in it, you're running an initializer and creating an instance of an object. Know how to use alloc and init. Okay. See, they're easy questions. Number 16. It's on memory, and it's not a source code question. So for those of you who said, well, they're not all source code questions. I think I answered that. I think it's to you, actually, earlier. You asked me about the question length. It's just a couple of sentences. So in the next question here, number 16, it's about memory. You know, we have that thing called the auto release pool. We have alloc, retain, release. This automatic garbage collection, ARC, automatic reference counting.
But written now.
It's a written one, yes. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. The format's changing on us now. We're going into writing instead of source code. Huh?
Only we need to use release.
Couple of sentences. Know what the auto release pool is. It's in one of the lectures. We don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
But the concept is it automatically releases memory. It does what we do not, actually it does what we do automatically now. We don't even use it. We don't even have an option to turn on automatic reference counting anymore. But so it's not a writing code. You don't write source code for this. You answer a concept question about memory. It's about alloc, release, retain, auto release pool, ARC, automatic reference counting. It's a memory management related question. That's about all I can say on that one. Hey, I think I got warmer in here. Put the heater on. It's nice. No, it's good. Actually, I can breathe in here now. It's good. It was just in the morning. You know, I think the air was turned off overnight. Any questions on memory? I'm going to be going over it later. Number 17 is on garbage collection. ARC memory. So it's really like 16. It's a slightly different. It is a different question, but it's on memory as well. So 16 and 17 are both on memory concepts.
So it's a garbage collection?
The word garbage collection is actually in the sentence, but it's not. Define what it is. It has something to do with the rest of the sentence. Retain, release, that stuff. Garbage collection, what it is and concept and how it works for certain things. Weak, strong, that stuff. It's a theory question again, not source code writing. You don't have to write source code, especially the stuff that doesn't require source code writing, like concepts. Okay, number 18 is on, again, the dynamic behavior. Dynamic binding, dynamic types, dynamic behavior. Behavior, I guess is a better way of saying it. It's a generic it's a two-part question. Most of these questions are two parts because they're worth 2 points. So it'll be, what is a blah, 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 and how does it work with a blah, blah, blah? So these are not source code writing questions. There's a little bit of overlap. You know, the dynamic question and overlaps with the dynamic ID question, actually. You know, when we're using ID, when I told you earlier about the source code writing. But these are not source code questions or concept questions that you're just answering. You're not answering with a book. You're answering with a couple of sentences. In fact, all of these questions, if you know the answer, you can answer it with a couple of sentences. It's not like a lot of writing. But you have all the backs of the pages that are open for you as well. Are we ready to move on? Okay, number 19. Number 19 deals with the ships and the is-a relationship between the ships and the cargo ship and the cruise ship. The object, a hierarchy of inheritance, is a relationship. It's all about ships, actually. It doesn't say ships in here, but the concept is represented in the assignment that you did. The point of it, polymorphism, yeah. And also the is a relationship between, you know, a cargo ship and a cruise ship is a ship. They can all be referenced as ships. Yeah. Questions about ships? Cargo ship, cruise ship, shrimp boat, shrimp cocktail, barbecue shrimp. Okay. Forrest Gump. Okay. We gotta lighten it up a little bit. You guys are like it's really the mood in this room. Number 20.
Is it source code?
No. We're stopped with source code.
Okay.
We're no more source code since I started talking about the non-source code.
But the ship will have source code.
No. The last question does not have any source code. The source code questions stop with number 15. Number 16, 17, and 18 are all answered questions. Let me just make sure. The rest of the exam is all word answers, no source code. So you only have a little bit of source code questions, and then the rest of it it's a essay, not essay, like short answer. I'm gonna call it short answer. So we got the ships in 19. Number 20 is a protocol question. So now, okay, so 20 could, okay, so here's your options. Even actually on number 19, you've got an option with this one too. You could write source code if you wanted to, because all the questions, the second part say provide an example. So if your example could be in source code if you wanted to, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't say write the source code. It says provide an example. So you could say, you know, the ships all work together, or you know, whatever. You know? Or you could write stuff. Like that's where 20 comes into place. It's on a protocol. You have an option of writing something, source code wise, if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Although sometimes it's easier to just explain it with source code. It depends on how you communicate. But number 20 is on the concept of protocols and using protocols. We know what protocols are, I hope. Well, we're going to find out later if you don't. I have a little 45 slide review kind of thing I'm going to do next. Okay, so number 21, lo and behold, is on categories. Categories, protocols, kind of a common theme. Not source code question, it's a theory question. You have source code question on categories and protocols, and you also have a theory question on both concepts. So know what they're for, what they're used for. Because some people might be able to create it or use it, but they don't know what it's used for. So the question is getting at, do you understand what it's about? Number 22, unless I'm going too fast, is on Model View Controller. MVC, Model View Controller, as a design pattern. All of the concepts I'm going to give you a little review lecture on shortly. Might not be till after lunch, we'll see. This is taking longer than expected. Now number 23. So I'll talk about Model View Controller, is what I'm saying. Number 23 is on this mutable concept. Mutable. We have mutable arrays, we have regular arrays. Mutable. I'll review that this afternoon as well. The mutable concept. Getting down to the last two questions. Number 24. Are we good on mutable? Okay, so number 24 is on the framework, foundation framework. It's a theory question. It's all on answering questions, so you know, obviously anyone in the room right now could probably write an import for it. It's not going to be an import, and you don't have to write source code for this. It's a question about the framework. Foundation framework. Foundation framework. So 23 was on mutable. It's concept. 24 is on framework. Foundation framework. Number 25, the last question on the exam. Number 25 is on the public, private, and protected concept. In theory, not in writing. Here's someone screaming. Next door, maybe. That's the last question. There's only 25 questions. Put that away. Any questions on the questions? How many blah blahs are there in question number 5? Blah 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 blah. Huh? Blahs? Are there extra credit points for the extra blahs? No. Any serious questions about the exam? Or any non-serious questions about the exam? Alright, so then, what are the answers to all of the questions? That's a good question, actually. It's a serious question, too. I can't tell you that. So exam is at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Administration gives it out. It'll probably be in this room. I'll give you some time. And then what I'm going to do next is I guess I'll start the review lecture, and then we'll finish it after lunch. And then I'm also going to give you some time today to finish up on your assignments, because I know this is like the last weekend before everything is due. So I'm going to stop this video.